Hey everyone, this is Spidey 101. I'm here today to review the newest episode of Big Hero 6. Now, all the episodes are absolute greatness, but this one in particular might end up being my favorite of the season, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Let me just get the episode. So, it starts. Big Hero 6, they're going to see a movie about this kaiju, right? This specific rim-looking kaiju. Fred's seen it like 6 times. He's all excited. And then Gogo gets a message on her phone saying that there's crime happening. Globby's back. Now, I had actually questioned earlier, in the earlier episodes, I was like, hey, what's Globby been doing? What's he been up to? But now, actually in the previous episode I was questioning that. But now, here he is. It says that he's robbing a bank. But as soon as they get there, he's like, oh! Ha ha ha! He's like, I'm up here. And what he does is actually crazy because he's actually, on top of the infrastructure, sticking to it. And it's crazy because now he's able to control his powers more than ever. So the first thing he does is he jumps onto Hero and Baymax, and he pulls Hero off of Baymax. Hero's falling. Go-Go catches him, and Globby's like, let's see how you can fight without Baymax, or without your red friend. And so, he is specifically going after Hero. But Go tries to stop him. Globby throws her across the room. He's going at him like he morphed himself into this bull creature. He's running at him. Honey Lemon puts him in this ball. Actually, no. He goes at him. Honey Lemon throws his chem ball at Globby. He absorbs it because, that's what he's made out of. He turns it into a staff or a sphere, throws it at Hero, nearly killing him because it almost stabbed him in the head. It was this close from stabbing him in the head. And then Honey Lemon put him in threw one of her chem balls at him, sorry. And broke his visor. So Hero was 1 inch away from death. And then Wasabi came at him, and he was like, not today. He was like, ha, good luck, kid. You lucky you had all your friends here, because if it was just you, you would have been dead. You can't defend yourself. Ha 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 ha. And so Hero's feeling pretty much horrible about himself. Globby goes back to Obake because we knew from the earlier episode that he was working with Obake. And turns out that Obake sent him there so that he could, get Hero to question himself and his ability to be a superhero. So that was really, really smart. Smart of Obake. But I expect so much from Obake at this point because he is literally a mastermind. Literally. What he does not surprise me anymore because he is a mastermind. So we cut to the next scene. Hero is just contemplating his life choices in his lab. Baymax is trying to comfort him because, his arm is kind of dislocated. So he's like, this code will help. And he's like, I'm done getting help. Oh, and Bam's like, would you like me to deactivate now? And then he was like, I'm sorry. He says, everyone has their own superpower except for me. So I gotta create my own superpower. How about super strength? So he makes this whole nano type underlayer that goes under his suit so that he could have the ability of super strength. And so he makes this, he tests it out by hitting it into a wall, by punching a wall. And, you know, he's doing that. While that's happening, Fred and Heathcliff are over by the docks. And Fred is getting something from this huge container. We don't know what it is, but it opens up. There's a whole lot of tinfoil. Like, not tinfoil. A whole lot of styrofoam. There we go. Like buildings worth of styrofoam. And he's going inside. We find out that he's getting like this little kaiju from the movie. And he was expecting it to be like the size of this giant crane. But then Fred gets this idea. He's like, hey, you say I can get anything I want, right? So we don't really know what he means by that, but by the end of the episode we definitely do. So back to Hero. You know, he's testing out his powers, punching a wall and stuff. Then he gets a call from Go-Go. And he's saying, Noodle Burger Boy's back and he's attacking. Hero's like, alright, let's do this. He tries to fist pump Baymax. Baymax goes flying. And then, of course, he goes, ba-la-la-la. And so, they're flying to the battle. Big Hero 6, they are struggling with Noodle Burger Boy because it seems like he's getting stronger. Matter of fact, Wasabi made an interesting point that, you know, it seemed like all their villains are getting stronger. Which I have no doubt that that's because of Obake. So, Hero and Baymax get there. Hero just goes running towards Noodle Burger Boy. And Honey Lemon's like, Baymax, you're not going to help him out? And Baymax was like, I've been instructed to let him do his thing. So, he's going up against Noodle Burger Boy. Noodle Burger Boy throws a car at him. Hero grabs the car. Alright, first of all, when he grabs the car, everyone's taken by a loop. He's like, what? And he grabs the car, picks it up, throws it at Noodle Burger Boy. Noodle Burger Boy's like, how are you able to do this? And he's like, what? Can't predict my moves? And so he's destroying the vehicle that Noodle Burger Boy's in. And so he wins the day. Noodle Burger Boy gets away, but he does win the day. I was saying loop, but how he's doing that? Because even Go-Go's taking for a loop. She's like, I thought smarts were this thing. Which it is. But then we go back to the lab. And he's telling everybody what it is. And so, yeah, that scene happens. And everyone's impressed, of course. So, we cut to him in his normal life. This underlayer is starting to become more of a problem because now he can't control his super strength. Like, he's breaking cups, he's breaking tables, he's breaking chairs. Like, there's a scene in the episode where he's trying to get to class. He opens the door because he's late. He breaks the door off the hinges. Professor Granville's like, Hiro Hamada, what are you doing? And then he throws the door down the hall. It crashes into something. We hear Fred's voice go, Who's throwing doors? And so Professor Granville's like, take a seat, Hiro. And then he's going to his seat. He tries to sit down. He tries to pull the chair out. He trips. The chair goes flying. Almost hits Carmi. And she's like, what the heck are you doing? And then she interprets this as assault. And so is everybody else. Who's like, man, it's not looking good for him. And he's also at lunch. He's like trying to go slow with all his movements. Placing the tray down with his lunch on it. Trying to pull the chair out with his foot. Then he tries to put ketchup on wherever he's eating. And the ketchup bottle just explodes all over the place. And so, yeah, it's not looking good for him. So, he goes back to the lab. he tells everybody like, hey, I can't get this thing off. And so Wasabi tries to help him by trying to pull it off. It's not budging at all. Fred tries to tell him about this new thing he's inventing. And saying, Hero bumps into him. Fred goes flying. He's like, this is not my day. He's like, sorry. And so we cut to this man. So we cut to so we cut to the scene where Fred and Hero are talking. And so they're talking about how, oh, I can't get this thing off. Can you help me out? He's like, no, I got someplace to be. I can't help you right now. I gotta go. So he goes. Then, while he's sitting there, Stan Lee comes out again. And so he's like, hey Fred, I got some amazing news to tell. Wait a minute. Wait a second. You're not Fred. And he's like, wait, I'm Hiro Hamada, sir. We've met earlier. And he's like, oh. And while they're talking, Stan Lee is fighting like these mummies. And he's talking to Hiro, and he's just nonchalantly hitting these mummies with books and stuff. It was crazy. And Stan Lee notices the underlayer. He's like, what do you got there? And he's like, oh, it's my underlayer. It helps me get super strength. And he's like, oh, I did that when I was a rookie. And I was like, well, he's like, I did that as a rookie. That's genius. I was like, well, I can't get it off, so apparently it's not that genius. And Stan Lee gives the motivational speech to Hiro. He's like, well, Hiro, you gotta, it's not all about strength. You gotta be yourself sometimes. You gotta be what makes you, you. And so, like, he doesn't exactly say that, but it's just my interpretation of it. So, he's like, hey, so I didn't know that this was you, Hiro, so I called the police. And so, yeah, you have to go now. And so he runs off, and the next scene happens. Sorry, I'm stuttering so much, man. There's so much happens. We cut to Big Hero 6 at the dock. Or, not all of them, just because Fred is missing. So, they're like, why did Fred tell us to come here? And Hero's like, I don't know. He's been acting weird than usual. He's acting weird lately. Gogo looks at him, and he's like, okay, weirder than usual. And then all of a sudden, this huge monster comes out of the water. And it's roaring. I was like, what in the world? Because when I saw the preview for this episode last week, I was like, what? They fighting a monster? And then I was like, wait, that's gotta be like a robot or something. And then, lo and behold, the eyes open up. Fred comes out. He's like, hey guys, look at the thing I built. And so he's like, and so everyone's like, wow, okay. Oh, something I forgot to mention before this scene. So they're talking before they even go to Hero's place. Obake is sitting in the cafe. He's just sitting in the cafe chilling. He's talking to Aunt Cass and everything. It was crazy, man. This guy is a beast. I can't wait to see what he does. I really can't wait. So I had to mention that because I forgot to mention that earlier. So cutting back to what I was talking about earlier, he's like, hey, look at what I built. And so Go was like, what are you about to do with this giant lizard? And he's like, that's a good question that I did not think about until this point. And so out of nowhere, Little Burger Boy comes in, knocks Fred out of the giant lizard robot. He's falling down. Baymax catches him. He's like, "Thanks for the new robot." And so, New Burger Boy is taking this robot into the city. They're like, "Oh boy, that's not good." And so, Hero tries to call in the robot to bring their suits in, but he breaks the phone because of his super strength. So Go-Go has to contact the robot. And so all of them come flying down, and it's so amazing. It's so amazing. And then Hero, before it cuts to commercial, says, "Can anyone help me put on my suit?" That's so funny. But anyway, we cut to the giant lizard going into the city, and this lady in this office is crazy because, like, in the second episode of season 1, we saw Globby swinging in and he's swinging through the city. He goes onto the wall, and this same lady is just typing on her computer like nothing's happening. Well, in this episode, we see that same lady, and this giant lizard is walking through the city. She sees it. All she does is close the blinds. Ah, man, I'm telling you. I think people in the Marvel Universe are just getting used to this whole thing. They're just getting used to it. So, the Big 06 come in. They are getting defeated pretty fast. That's by this robot. Because it's destroying the city. They're getting wrecked in the process. Go-Go tries to throw her disc at him. The robot eats him. Honey Lemon tries to go. Honey Lemon doesn't have a chem purse because it flies off, and Wasabi has his things up, and it flies in and explodes on him. So that's not gonna work. So Hero and Baymax come in. They're our only hope. So Baymax is using the rocket fist. The Kaiju uses that too. And they get hit by its tail. And Baymax is just wrecked. Like, his foot is missing. His armor is like scratched up. Well, not scratched up, but broken. Like, he is down for the count. And Hero's like, "You know what? I gotta do this on my own." So he goes, he tries to stop this giant Kaiju robot. And he manages to get inside the robot. Noodle Burger Boy is gone because he skips town. And so he looks at what is controlling it, and he sees this giant chip with Obake's symbol on it. So, and he doesn't know what this is yet because none of them know who Obake is. So, he's trying to stop this monster. The monster's just by itself at this point. It's just by itself. And so he's doing everything he can to stop this monster. And it's not working. Like, the monster almost squishes him. But then he uses his super strength to hold him back. Now, while this is happening, the actual super strength is starting to wear off. So he throws him off. He uses the last bit of power in it to throw him off, and then as soon as that happens, poof, it just stops working. It turns into a regular t-shirt. So he's like, "Oh no, this is basically the end of my life." And so and so he's like, "Oh boy, I've got nothing. There's nothing I can do now." And then he looks over at this poster of Stan Lee in the background, and he says, and the quote that Stan Lee told him earlier is resonating with him. And so Hero is just standing there all confident. He sees the rocket fist in his mouth. He's like, "I've got an idea." So the monster comes in. Looks like he eats him. the team is baffled by this. So the monster walks off, then all of a sudden, boom! Hero comes out of his mouth with the rocket fist. And so he lands on the Stan Lee billboard, and he's like, "Oh no, don't hurt me." In the process, we see this electrical circuitry is down beneath the monster. So Hero has this smirk on his face, and then the monster steps in it. It short circuits. It messes up, and then it pretty much disables itself. And so the monster is defeated. The day is saved. And everyone's so proud of Hero. And then Hero comes to a realization. He's like, this chip is more advanced than Noodle Burger Boy can comprehend. Even Go-Go agrees with him. But he's like, wait a minute. You know what's worrying me? Globby. Because he didn't steal anything from the bank, if you noticed. He only came here to toy with my emotions. And so Hero's putting two and two together. And he's like, someone's pulling the strings. We gotta find out who it is. And so Obake's seeing this, he's like, wow, this boy is smarter than I expected. And then the episode ends. And I'm like, oh man, they're starting to put two and two together. Someone's behind it. I'm like, hey, we all know who that is. That's Obake. Now, oh man. I think this might end up being my favorite episode of the season. Because not only does Hero go through all these trials and tribulations, not only does he question himself about his overall worth with the team, but he actually goes through more character development here. Now, Hero has been really proving himself as a total OG. Now, if you guys been watching my channel, you know my favorite Big Hero 6 member is Go-Go. Always has been, always will be. I got it on my shirt. Here, see? But that's not taken away from fact that Hiro Hamada is an OG. And all these episodes have been proving it. Like, seriously. I mean, this episode was great. Like, it's my favorite episode of the season. We'll see how many episodes. I don't know how many episodes we have left, but I'm assuming we're starting to get towards the end because now we're starting to get the pieces put together. But yeah, we actually didn't get any updates in terms of what Professor Granville's secret, but you know, I'm guessing that we're going to get some developments on that in the next episode. So overall, I really love it. 10 out of 10. Peace.